Welcome to the Deep Dive Podcast. Becoming the dad God has called you to be takes a deeper dive. Dads too often stay at surface level. So let's dive deep into today's podcast.
Welcome back to the Dad Deep Dive Podcast. This is our final episode of Season 2. I can't even believe we've made it this far. And we have a great episode for you today. Kendrick Skipper sits down with Jeff Springer. Kendrick's breakout group, Divorced But Devoted, is the most popular breakout group we've ever had at Dad University. They're going to talk about that as he sits down with Jeff Springer to discuss what it looks like to be a dad who is devoted, even under the horrible circumstance of divorce.
All right, Kendrick Skipper. Man, we finally got you here.
It's so good to be here.
It is. It's been too long.
It's been way too long.
I mean, I think even maybe pre-pandemic since we've been in the same room together.
Yeah.
So this is exciting. So look, when I think about you and your title for today, which is Divorced But Devoted, I get excited about the fact that there's going to be people out there listening. They're going to hear your message and they're going to resonate with that message, and it could be a game changer for them. And so that's why I'm really excited about what we're going to talk about today. We're going to get to that, but before we, obviously we've known each other and I know you, but a lot of people out there that are going to be tuning in, clicking on, subscribing to our online Dad U may not know who Kendrick Skipper is. So talk. I know it's sometimes hard to talk about yourself, but tell. Just, give a little intro, your little background, personally and professionally.
Well, I am the local Chick-fil-A guy. So everybody seems to love to eat more chicken, and been very blessed and fortunate to be with Chick-fil-A for 20 years now here in the area. And we actually are the owner-operator franchisee of the two local locations here, Alden Bridge Village in the Woodlands and Magnolia at FM 1488 and 2978. So it's been a great ride and journey with great company. Very proud to be a part of, and can't do it without been so blessed. Great guy, great people working side by side with us, and great communities that we just loving and serving on others with.
Well, we love our Chick-fil-A. I'm going to tell you that. I have 3 grandchildren, so we frequent the Chick-fil-A. When in doubt, Chick-fil-A. I mean, so.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh! So we've done our part. I promise you. But yeah, you have become really a beacon for our community. And I know Chick-fil-A has that reputation all over, but we're a little biased about our Chick-fil-A's. So thank you for what you do in our community and what you represent, even beyond the Chick-fil-A, notoriety. So
truly honored and humbled.
Yeah. Well, talk about your family.
Well, I am blessed with 2 amazing kiddos. I've got Grayson right now, who is in 9th grade, finishing up 9th grade. Super active in lots of activities, 15 years old, super active in football and baseball. Just finished our baseball season up. And then I've got an amazing daughter, Callie Ann, and she's finishing up 6th grade, 12 years old. And she's been involved in dance for over the years and stuff. That's kind of been her thing. And she just flipped over recently to cheerleading. So she just made the 7th grade cheerleading team. So we're fixing to embrace the cheer dad role.
I was going to say, you have moved into the new realm,
yes.
A cheer dad. So, okay. So where do they go to school?
Grayson is at the Woodlands High School,
Okay.
9th grade campus.
Okay.
And Callie Ann is at Mitchell Intermediate. So both of them are in Conroe High School.
Okay. Wow. Great. So you do your schedules during the week are probably pretty hectic.
Pretty crazy. Just through, obviously, Chick-fil-A is pretty crazy intense and has its high times and low times of when we're crazy and busy. And right now is the end of the school year, so one of our busiest times of the year and stuff. So just, constant trying to balance that and being the best dad you can be and work and going to all the kids' activities and shuttling them all around. So we're entering kind of the glorious teenage years. So trying to embrace that role and find the best ways to be the best dad we can be. And this season of them getting older.
That season goes quickly.
It does.
It's like,
I have to say I miss the younger kiddo days sometimes.
when they get out of elementary and they go into the junior high school, it's like where did those years go?
Yeah, it's so amazing just as in this season and chapter, and just it truly is just all the things that my parents always said it, but all those before us and everything of how time flies, and man, definitely realizing that and how fast it goes. So
okay, well,
I make the most out of every moment.
Yes, from personally having a 34-year-old daughter and soon to be 33-year-old son.
There's no way.
I will tell you that it's a blink, and it does not slow down.
All this time, I didn't think you were older than 40.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Right. So thank you for that. So we're here to talk about your dad story, your personal dad story, but talk about you as the father of two children that you just talked about, and we will continue to talk about in different ways. But talk about your dad story with your dad.
Well, I tell you what, I have been extremely blessed and fortunate to just have a wonderful, loving, amazing father throughout my whole life, and it's funny. It's now the roles of I've been blessed to be a dad now for 15 years, and just seeing all those things. I learned I had such a great role model and example in my dad of just being loving, supporting, encouraging. It doesn't mean you're not going to make mistakes, but even if you make mistakes, being humble and asking for forgiveness, and just the biggest thing is just knowing your kids, knowing that they're there, that you're there for them, and that you're present and you're part of their lives. And I know my dad sure was that for me, and still is to this day. And I just treasure the moments that I have with him, and it's just been sweet. I just thank God every day for my mom and dad both, and what a blessing and a treasure they've been for me in my life.
Well, you are fortunate that you still have your dad, and
Yes.
I just have this picture in my mind, this memory of when we were doing pre. COVID in-person dad universities.
Yes.
In this building, we had a dad university, which your dad and your son came to.
Yes.
So 3 generations. And what a great opportunity to experience something like that with your dad and your son at the same time.
Yes. And I think those kind of things are just kind of the things that God kind of calls us to do. That was just an opportunity that came, and we put our foot in the ground and said, let's do it and stuff. Yeah. And to have all 3 of us there truly was. That's definitely something that we will always remember and treasure, and just that time together and just learning together, and just fellowshipping together, and just realizing, taking that chance for all 3 of us right there together to really, take a stand and say, hey, we're going to do this together, and we're all walking through it together. And even Grayson, he's not a father, but someday he'll probably will be a father.
That's right.
And just how important that is to do those things.
Well, he's had some great examples in you and his grandpa. And so tell me what is something maybe that really stands out that your dad taught you, that you emulate, that you've carried out or tried to carry out with your own kids?
Well, I can tell you that I grew up, my dad was actually a doctor, and the thing, and I tell you, that really was a catalyst for me, and everything is, I had the great privilege of growing up with, my dad is such a good people person. And just his heart with people to love and serve them and seeing him do that through his profession, I was richly blessed to grow up with people coming up to me saying, "Your dad is so awesome and amazing," and "Your dad like literally saved my life on occasions." And I can just remember, just everywhere we went, whether it be to the grocery store, whether it be grew up in Longview, Tyler area in small town East Texas, and we'd even go to Dallas sometimes, and my dad would see somebody and he'd start talking to him. And I can remember my brother and he'd sit there and talk to him for like 10, 15 minutes or so. And my brother and we'd walk away and we'd be like, "Who is that?" And Dad was like, I don't know who that is and everything. But it was like,
they knew him.
But we laughed and we chuckled because it was so admirable that here he was and he just sat there and had a conversation with somebody, and just to see his heart. And I tell you, I personally, when it came time, I always had a desire, wanting to do something in business and very entrepreneurial and stuff. And even going off to college, went to Baylor, and even though Baylor's well known for medical stuff and everything, I just, from the very start, I always never had really any interest in medicine per se. Not that I had anything against it, but it was that. But those principles of just loving and serving and hard work and being humble and those things just carried over. And I think that's a big part and that's pretty much defines me in finding Chick-fil-A over all these years, and being able to love and serve on others, whether they work with us or in the community, and being active and involved, and just doing whatever we can. Kind of comes, I can tell you that probably the defining things from the Bible, just the law of the harvest, reaping what you sow, and then the one of the most powerful things that sticks out to me is just blessed to be a blessing, and just realizing how truly blessed we are, no matter where we're at in life, and just our ability. And I tell you that just pouring into other people and loving on them, which I try to definitely tell others all about and stuff, it's amazing because it's a total win-win situation. The more and more I try to look to love and serve others, it just comes back to myself tenfold. Yeah. And man, you can't beat that when you find something like that that's a win-win for everybody and stuff. So I can't say enough about doing that.
Well, you mentioned that you've been a dad for 15 years. Your dad's been a dad a lot more than that. And the thing that we talk about in Dad University is that once a dad, always a dad.
Exactly.
So you being in the middle of that generation, the middle generation between your dad and your son, you're playing both. You're a son and a father, and you're never too old to still go to be that son role. I mean, your dad is
exactly.
I can remember being 50 years old and going to my dad and saying, "Dad, I need," or "What do you think?" And there's a lot of men that are listening right now that they never had that. Yes. And that really kind of breaks my heart when you think about the men that we come in contact with, and the younger people we come in contact with that didn't have the guidance that you and I had. And but I know that you probably see in your business a lot of young employees that you've been able to be that father figure for.
Yes.
And somehow they've overcome it. But there's typically, when you look in their ability to overcome those challenges, somebody played a role in their life, and typically it's a man.
Exactly. And I think that's very unfortunate in our world today that so many don't have that opportunity. And to be honest with you, I mean, I know that's the whole reason Suit Up Ministries and Dad U exists in the first place, is because there's just, I think that's probably one of the defining things that's wrong with our society and culture right now, is just the lack of dad presence. And that's for a lot of different reasons and everything. But, that father relationship is just so impactful. And, as we all get older, I think we realize more and more how important that is. And certainly, it goes back to what we were just talking about, just blessed to be a blessing. I certainly look at my role at Chick-fil-A as a lot more than just selling chicken. We're in the people business, and we just use chicken as a vehicle, but it's really comes down to people and loving and serving on them. And you're right. I truly feel that God has blessed me with opportunity, especially through the people that work with us, side by side with us, to be that positive influence, no matter where it is and everything. I know I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for other people who had taken me under their wing or encouraged me or been role models and examples. And every single one of us, no matter where we're at and whatever stage of life, whether you're 5 years old, whether you're 75 years old, it's always good to have surround yourself with people that you want to be like, that you can emulate, that you can talk to, and that you can discuss things with. And I think that's truly the whole power of Suit Up Ministries and Dad U, and certainly one of the big things that we're always a student. You need to always have a mentality of how can I, continuous improvement and always trying to get better.
Well, I think you said, I know you said something that really resonates with me when you said it's more than selling chicken, and I've heard you say that before, and I know that's who you are. I came to that same realization when I came to Magnolia to be the principal. I realized that God brought me here to be more than just the principal.
You certainly were.
Well, it is bigger than that. It's and just like your role as an owner and operator of 2 Chick-fil-A's, it's bigger than that. Yes. And I think that men listening need to hear that whatever their profession and whatever their lot is in life, that they can make a difference. It's bigger than the responsibility or the title.
Exactly.
And I think so many times men look at, or maybe they're not fully engaged in their work, but there's or they don't see purpose. And but whomever, whether they're coworkers on the same level or whether there's people they supervise, they can make a difference in their lives if you look for that, if you acknowledge the fact that God has given you and placed you in this time and this place. For such a time as this.
And I think that's the key to, what so many things and stuff is just what's your mindset from the start and everything. And what's your, I've heard it in business term, true north, what's your guiding, what's that light at the end of the tunnel that you're shooting for? What guides you? And I know for you and I, our faith is the big driver of that, and finding role models and examples of folks. I know I didn't mention that about my dad, but obviously that, for me personally, I said love and serve, but that all comes from my dad's, faith and looking to God for guidance and wisdom. And I know that's what drives me in everything that I do. So when I just stop and look at the whole big picture, I mean, it really is about, defining you and who you are at your core. And, there's something, I don't remember where I heard this a few years ago and stuff, but it helped me out, defines so much for me just over the last, especially with being a dad. But somebody said the thing, always remember who you are and whose you are.
Yeah.
And man, I say that I say that countless times every single day, whether that be out loud to myself, to the kiddos, to others around me. But I know that's something that I always think about, and it runs through my head on a constant basis. Yeah. And a big driver for me too and stuff was very blessed and fortunate. You would ask me in high school or college if I'd be with Chick-fil-A now, I would have been like, heck no, it would have never entered my mind. But it's amazing looking back as you get older and stuff, those defining things, that kind of molded and shaped you. And obviously parents for myself was number one, and just a lot of the activities that I was involved in, was very active in, my youth group back home, and was active and involved in Boy Scouts at that time. I was an Eagle Scout, and some of those experiences, and just dealing with all different kinds of people and all different kinds of walks of life and their beliefs, and just getting familiar with that. But also with Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A was actually my first job when I turned 16. Put in applications at a lot of different places, and they were the first ones to call me up, and was blessed to get that opportunity and started working there. And it was like a second youth group, and was very blessed and fortunate that Truett Cathy, the founder, actually came to Longview just within those first few months that I started working at Chick-fil-A. And Chick-fil-A's corporate purpose was then, and it is now, to glorify God by being a faithful steward of all that is entrusted to us, and to glorify God by being a faithful steward of all that's entrusted to us, and to have a positive influence on all who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And then also his life verse was Proverbs 22:1. A good name is to be had rather than great riches. And I just remembered those things coming from him at that time, which even at that time, he was up there in age, and was kind of like a grandfatherly figure. And here he was, the founder of Chick-fil-A. And so you just kind of had that built-in respect already and everything. But hearing him say those things and stuff, those two things right there were very big drivers for me, even in my early, just right there in those high school days of just kind of defining me. I took that corporate purpose to glorify God by being a faithful steward of all that is entrusted to me, Kendrick Skipper, and to have a positive influence on all who come in contact with me, Kendrick Skipper. And I thought that was just like what we're talking about, having role models, examples, guides, looking for those things. That corporate purpose struck a chord not only as Chick-fil-A's corporate purpose, but for my own personal purpose. And Proverbs 22:1 has always been kind of a huge life verse for myself. Just, to a good name is to be had rather than great riches. Yeah. And, I find that great riches in life are truly found through your relationships with others, and and the people, and the ability to love and serve others and everything and stuff. And in a lot of cases, you can have both and everything and stuff if if that's what it allows you to do and stuff. Right. So so I just, those, it's funny that we even got talking on that, but those are just some of the things that, and I think that's the thing, always knowing and having a mindset of continuous improvement and getting better. I by no means know hardly anything and stuff, and I have that kind of mindset every single day. And I think that just drives you to always be a student. And what's the old adage? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I certainly hold true to that. I'm still one of those who certainly believes that blood, sweat, and tears, and opens the doors, and there's no substitute for that. And things aren't just given to you and stuff. You got to go get it. And it amazes me having those same kind of mindsets and being a dad of just even last night, I Google searched on topics for dad, and it's just amazing the amount of material that's out there and everything. So all these things are there if you are hungry for it and you take action to try to find resources and everything and stuff. And I can't say enough about what a blessing Suit Up Ministries has been, and helping me in my role as a dad, and not only as a dad, but just as a man in general, just trying to make it in the world today and everything. So well, my dad said there are two things to lead to success, and that's you have to be coachable, and you have to be willing. Yes. And that's what that's what you're talking about. All those principles are amazing, but if you don't heed them, if you're not willing and humble Yeah.
if you don't have humility in your life to say, I really need to go deeper. I need to be that student. And what great examples for your kids. So, we talked about dad universities, and when we did those for 2.5 years prior to the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And your session, I tell people all the time, Divorced but Devoted was probably one of the most popular sessions. I joke that they would probably still be in that room today if we didn't tell them they had to move, because we always did those luncheon sessions, and we had I think they were only like 45 minutes, and we had to get another group in there before we went back to the conference, and they were always full, and they were always attentive. And you could tell that you were feeling a need, because there are some dads out there, many dads, unfortunately, life happens, and divorce does happen. We cannot deny that. But we also see at the same time fathers that divorce their wife, but also leave the family. And so to Divorce but Devoted is such an important message, because I also think there's dads out there that think they can't be devoted if they're not under the same roof,
Yes.
or they had distances between them, or they don't have them on a daily basis, and so forth. So your title again today, Divorced but Devoted. Why is that message so important for you?
Well, first off, I just want to say thanks to you. Going through divorce, unfortunately went through the pains of divorce back in 2015-16 with the 2 kiddos, and the younger, obviously young at that time and everything. And I have to say thank you to you, first off, because you were one of the first people to reach out to me and actually going through that and really challenge me to share that story, to kind of embrace that and realize that, you could take this, how can you take this mess and make it your message? How can you go through these tests,
Right,
and make it your testimony? And I have to say, even at that point, I was reluctantly blessed. I coined my reluctantly blessed to embrace that role. And I can remember that first time that you had me talk in one of those sessions. I was scared. I was scared to death. I didn't really know how to approach it or anything. I came up with all these fancy notes and all this stuff and try to say, and we'd had that session, and it really just turned into, kind of saying a few things, but it was more of it's almost like a therapy session.
Right.
It was just a chance I just kind of guided and shepherded a conversation. My notes immediately got thrown to the side when I realized for the first time in that role of just the thirst and the hunger and the desire for just being in a brotherhood of people, just trying to walk through that and figure out that. And it's crazy because so many people, first of all, divorce is a horrible and devastating thing to go through in so many ways. I don't think there's very many people that go through a divorce and think it was a great joyous occasion or anything and stuff. There's always residuals to it, even to this day, no matter how long it is and everything. But, just like they say, divorce is kind of a death and a mourning, and everybody's story is different on that, is one thing that I've realized through the opportunities that you've allowed me to have and just talking. And you saying that was one of the most popular sessions, I mean, I think that's a statement of our society and everything is it is a reality and everything and stuff. And I can't commend you enough for challenging me to tell that story and to kind of lead that, but then also going on that journey of just of seeing that yourself and the need for that, and really in a faith Christian church environment of embracing that and seeing that need, and applying some good wisdom, counsel, teaching, healing opportunities for those. But in doing those things, it's just been amazing. One thing, the biggest thing I can say is that it's just been nobody's story is alike, and some people, it runs the gamut from good to bad to ugly to the highs, the lows, pains, struggles, great victories. So the biggest thing in that that I've learned is just echo what we've already talked about, is just, it's a new reality. It's a new thing. It's just like going to a new job. You're not going to know what's going on, but you got to learn how to navigate that. And kind of just echoing what we've talked about earlier and everything and stuff is, for me, that, and what I really wanted to talk about today was just the foundational elements that I've seen in talking with so many others that are very foundational and at the core of everybody who's done things, is just is that mindset coming out of divorce. Divorce, for me personally, painful. It's very, you run those emotions. I can't say that's, like I said, that's not everybody's story and everything and stuff, but for me, but at some point you got, to me, it all starts with you and realizing what kind of dad you need to be and what kind of dad you want to be. And that has to define you and be at the core of who you are. I didn't get married thinking I was going to get divorced.
Right.
I didn't have kids thinking that they were going to have to go through divorce and the process of that and everything and stuff. And the kids didn't choose that. That was the path and the journey that they're on due to the choices that their parents made. I love those kids to death and everything and stuff. And, I'd do anything for them. And that's what it's all about, is just being that for them. And once you get over the emotions and all that and try to figure out what that new journey looks like as far as schedule, when does she have them, when do I have them, and all of those different things, I think it all starts with that mindset and saying, what kind of dad do I want to be? And for me, that has been looking to God for guidance, wisdom, and counsel, and shaping that. Obviously, with my dad being a powerful example of the dad that I always wanted to be. And for me personally, that said, nothing's going to change my love for these kids. And even if I have them half of the amount of time that I have them, I'm going to do all 100% of everything I always wanted to do with them. And I think that's the thing is that I see a lot of dads get stuck right there. And I was very fortunate to have some people. I mean, you were certainly one of those who challenged me in those early days when I was like, I don't want to talk about this topic and everything and stuff, because there's just, some, for me, even to this day, there's still like shame, guilt, disappointment, things associated with that. And, it's like they say, as time goes on, time heals wounds, and but it all is defined by what your mindset is. And for me, those dads who look to God for guidance and wisdom, sought out wise guidance and counsel from others around them, it's just truly been, it's amazed me that the more that I've not kept things bottled up inside of me, but the more that I've been open and talked about it with people who are going through the same experiences, how richly blessed and rewarded I've been. And I see that the others around me have been as well. Right. But that's the biggest thing that I can say is just that, those kids, it all comes back to the fact of that being a dad is not just a title. Being a father is not just a title. God commands me to be the dad of my kiddos. He has given me those kiddos. And God will be their heavenly father, but I'm their earthly father. Right. And it's my responsibility to love, support, encourage, mold, shape, and do the best that I can in shepherding them through this journey of life and steering them towards looking to God for guidance and wisdom and counsel. And that ultimately comes back. It's my job to help them to be the best persons that God created them to be. Yeah. And to me, that's kind of the journey and the mindset that I know I've had and that I've seen other successful dads have, is that, coming out of divorce, you really got to take a stand, and you got to say, I've been through this. I'm not going to let, divorce define me. I'm not going to let this define my story. It's kind of the old adages, you've been given lemons. What are you going to do with it? Go make some lemonade with it. And, don't get bitter, get better. Yeah. Some of those were some key phrases that I know, but really having those people, and I have to tell you, my mom and dad are probably the biggest influencers of that. And finally, just, having yourself a good board of directors, role models, examples around you, people, other people that are walking through life with you and stuff. And it's not a bad thing, no matter where you're at in life, to have some people that'll, grab you and look you straight in the face and tell you, like, suck it up and quit throwing a pity party for yourself. And because, and so much of this can be applied to so many other things in life, whether it's the loss of a loved one, whether it's, going through bad medical, news, any kind of things, I think our earthly tendency is human nature is to kind of revert into a cave and, shy away from things and stuff. And, I don't know. I just found that the more I lean in, first of all, just kind of throwing cold water on you, waking up and, get true. And it all comes back to what I said earlier. It's just like, I'm not going to let this define me. I'm not going to let this, going through divorce make me not be the dad that I wanted to be before divorce and everything. And so that's where I think so much of, one of the key things throughout the years here and everything and stuff, and that I took away, I think, from the very first, I'm a sports nut, so I love the sports analogies you use. Obviously, suit up ministry, suit up, get in the game. That just makes sense for me. Yeah. And it's been such a powerful example for me. And then I know how you always said dad, daily, active, devoted. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, that drives me in everything I do. I have to be honest with you, especially, number one, it all starts with that mindset. And number two, when I got to the fact of, especially with the schedule, when you look at it and you're just like, man, there's this time when you don't have the kids or you come home to a empty house, you're at the beginning of that, you're just like, man, this is horrible and everything. But once, I think guys are kind of like this, we compartmentalize things and stuff. But when I started getting comfortable and realizing, hey, I can, when I'm all focused on other things, when I look back at my time with the kids, and I think so many dads are kind of like, it's kind of like, when you go work, you go home, if that's kind of the mindset and everything and stuff, it's kind of like you're half there, right, and stuff. But actually going through divorce, one of the powerful things that transpired for me personally and stuff was embracing the fact of, like, when I didn't have the kids, I was 100% working on other things that I need to. But the big driver of that is when I had the kids, you're all 100% all in on them. And I can block that time out if possible and do everything that I can. And to be honest with you, I think that's made my time with the kids even more powerful than even before divorce and everything and stuff, of just how intentional it is and how focused on doing things is. And that's what drives me every time with the kids, is looking for opportunities. You know, for me, I love travel, love experiences, whether that's right here in our own backyard or whether that's doing, you know, getting on a plane and going somewhere and everything and stuff. But, man, we've been very blessed and fortunate to go on some great adventures together. And my time with the kids, I try to do everything I can to make it fun, make it memorable, and something that they're, you know, and something that they're going to look back and be able to treasure.
Yeah,
So,
I think you said that word. You said a lot of great things. Your intentionality when you have them. You know, I do want to remind our audience that in Dad University, we always talk about one of the greatest things that a dad can do for their kids is to love their mom. But as we've talked about, things do happen. Life does happen, but that's not an excuse to divorce the kids. And so we have dads for whatever reason that you and I have experienced, and one of the reasons, as you mentioned, Suit Up exists, is we have seen the hurt that a broken home causes a dad who divorces not only the wife but family and walks.
Yes.
So obviously you're not one of those. But if it does happen, you're always going to be the dad, no matter what your relationship is with their mom. In the end, once the dad, always the dad. So now what are you going to do with that? And you just talked about how in that case.
Well, I will have to say, and everything and stuff, and just some of the things that I said earlier, just about everybody's story is different. That's a big area where everybody's story of having gone through divorce is different. Is what's that relationship look like with your ex? I can certainly say that there's tremendous value in trying to do everything you can. You might be divorced from that person and stuff, but when you have kiddos, you're with that person for
really the rest of your life.
For the rest of your
Yeah.
life. So it doesn't take long to realize you guys better figure it out, and for the betterment of the kids, and everything and stuff. So that is a very key and important part, and that runs the gamut. I've seen that's where it's just really where everybody's story is different, because a lot of stuff, it's all over the place. But I can't say enough about the ultimate reality is no matter what that situation is, you always want to try to do everything you can possible to make that relationship with the ex be the best that it can be.
What would you say to the dad out there that has that scenario, that wants to be devoted but has these roadblocks of possibly the ex or other variables? I mean, what can they do to on their part to continue to be devoted?
Well, there's two words that always come to my mind in being a dad that's gone through divorce and everything and stuff when it comes to dealing with the ex and everything and stuff. And that's, number one, it's tough. And number two, it's awkward. Those are the two words that always seem to come up to me. It's tough. I mean, it takes a lot of work and everything and stuff, figuring out schedules and figuring out who's there, who's that, what's going on. Most of the times, I think our system is set up where, unfortunately, no matter what kind of dad you want to be and everything and stuff, our legal system and everything is set up to where, to respond to a society where, in all honesty, there has been a lot of deadbeat dads and dads who haven't been devoted or dedicated or so as somebody who's gone through this, as somebody who wants to be all in and devoted and do everything I can, some of the things even from the get-go are kind of working against you. And then obviously, if that's the case, then the next level is, how's your ex? And that's where I say it's important to do all you can, because a lot of times they are kind of the gatekeeper, I guess, so to speak, on things. But I think, I think deep down inside, every woman and mother at some point understands in the role that a man and a father needs to have for kiddos and everything and stuff. I certainly can't say that's probably true for everybody, but I know it's both of us together and everything, and I certainly feel that she feels that way too, and we try to do everything we can. But for the guy, that is tough. It's tough. It's tough going to sporting events or the kids' activities, and going separately, and So I've seen people that have done it and embraced it
side by side.
And I've been like, how in the world do you do that and everything and stuff? And then there's some that don't have anything to do. But all I can say is it all comes back to that mindset of what we talked about. God called me to be the dad of those kids, and I'm going to do everything I can to be the best dad that I can be, because that's what God commands me to be, and that's what I embrace. And no matter how tough it is and everything, or whatever's thrown my way, it is what it is. And bottom line is no matter what the tough, awkward situation, whatever it is that you're going through, for me, I know 110% right now that those kids love me, and that those kids know that their dad loves them and is there for them no matter what. They could call me right now and tell me that they were something. And to me, that's what it's all about. Yeah. Your kids need to know that they're there for them and stuff. So, and that's the hurt of what you see so many people, no matter how old they are and everything and stuff, of just fathers that just aren't present at all and everything and stuff. And that's not only fathers, mothers as well and stuff. So many, and especially just there at workplace, and great team members that have. I mean, it is amazing to me just to see the resiliency in some that you're just like. I mean, there's so many of our. People are always talking about how bad kiddos are and stuff like that. Well, I flip it around and just like, well, what? You got so many kiddos that are like being parents to their parents and stuff. So it just all goes into what everything we talk about and suit up and everything and stuff. It's just like, we're a society where we just need to get in people's faces, shake them up and say, hey, this is what are you doing and everything and stuff. And, same can be said with this specific topic of, divorce but devoted and stuff.
Yeah. Daily, active devotion. Whether you're physically present or distance between you, you can still be daily, you can still be active, and you can still be devoted. Yep. And I think that persistency and the consistency that of the striving for and continuing to try to navigate and work through even the tough, difficult, awkward relationships with your ex, keeping, as you say, the children's welfare number one.
Certainly.
Priority number one. Yeah. And I think that probably is what brings you back to center sometimes when we know that sometimes there are disagreements with anyone, but in particular the potentiality in this scenario to make it the very best it can possibly be, to be, as you said, as the Bible commands you, to be the dad that God's called you to be.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
to me, that's where everything lies, right there, is in your mindset. So I just challenge all those who, are sitting on the sidelines to use some of your analogies from Suit Up of just like, get in the game and everything and stuff. Don't let divorce define you. really reach out, search, understand. For me, that's certainly all starts with looking to God for guidance and wisdom and everything and stuff and healing. And you got to get yourself right first and everything and stuff. The coach doesn't put in somebody who's got a broken leg to go play in the game and everything and stuff. So it starts with yourself and making sure that you're ready. And then when you're ready, the coach will put you in and know what you're going to, plan it out, execute, be intentional about those different kinds of things and stuff. And it just truly amazes me of just the wealth of information, in our society today. There's no reason why you shouldn't say, I don't know what to do. I don't know that I can't do this or anything like that. It's just like, well, any of us wouldn't be where we are today if we hadn't been a student of, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for the organizations I was involved in, the school and the education that I had, all those things, the training of your job. So being a dad in any form and fashion, whether it's in marriage, whether it's divorced, being a student and realizing, seeking wise guidance and counsel. The ultimate reality is to shake yourself and realize you're not the first person to go through this and everything and stuff. I'm just blown away when I just do a Google search of anything that I want. I got the kiddos for the weekend. Type in things to do in Houston this weekend. And look at all the things that come up and everything. Fun things to do with kids in Houston. I've done it many times and everything. It'll blow you away what comes up. And, just be, and that's where it all goes back to, is just being daily active, devotion and just doing that. And your kids see that and everything. And no matter what kind of crazy or tough or awkward that you're going through, your kids are going to grow up and they're not, they're only kids for a little while and everything. As they grow up and everything and stuff, they see any kind of lies, deceit, but them knowing that you're always there for them, loving and supporting them and there for them no matter what, that's going to prove the test of time and everything.
Yeah. And that is eternal.
Exactly.
Well, Skip, I appreciate you being here. The Skipper, Kendrick Skipper.
I've heard it all with that name over the years.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you being the man that you are and the dad that you are and the brother that you are.
We just hope, just like I've said, there, God doesn't ask us to, doesn't, have us live this life. That's one big thing that I've learned is that, he's not having this life made out for us that's supposed to be all rosy and perfect. We're all going to go through pains and struggles and, these are the things that enter our life and everything and stuff that can either destroy you and can define you or can be your greatest blessings. And I think, no matter what it is that we go through in life, I certainly don't, embrace divorce. I don't want anybody to I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy to have to go through it or anything and stuff. But I certainly know that, I hold to Jeremiah 29:11, God has a purpose and a plan and, and he plans to grow and prosper if you keep your eyes upon him. And, no matter what pains and struggles that we go through, in any form or fashion, I just challenge everybody to, it's okay to hurt, but you can't let that you can't just live in that hurt and everything. At some point, you got to shake yourself up and you just got to look to God for guidance and wisdom and just realize that, you got more life to live and you only got one life to live.
Yeah.
So what do you want that life to look like? And, going through this is, I'm not going to let that define me. I'm going to turn this mess and I'm going to make it my message and I'm going to take these tests and we're going to make it our testimony. And it's not going to stop me from being the dad that I always wanted to be.
Yeah. Suit up.
suit up.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me. Thanks for challenging me.